Ooh. So we get the intro, a little Sandy Nelson. That's it. It's like the coffee. Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 119 of Boulder with Travis Robinson and Dave Anderson with our special guest, Boulder City High School Principal Amy Wagner. Say hello, Amy.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning.
Oh, we hit the music here. Okay. How are we on this beautiful Memorial Day? I mean, it's isn't it a great, awesome day? I mean, it's beautiful outside. I mean, I hear we're going to get like 107 on Wednesday or something like that, right? So this will be it'll be the great plant die-off on Wednesday. You know, you'll forget to water your plant and they'll just go, and they'll just shrivel up, you know, so.
It'll just poof in thin air.
Yeah. So how you doing, Travis? It's good to see you. You got hair growing everywhere, you know, and yeah.
Got my Corona beard, my Roni beard.
Yeah.
Not dead yet.
You're not dead yet, right? That's another not dead yet episode.
Yeah. Another not dead yet.
Yeah. Here, episode 119 of Not Dead Yet, Boulder, right? So Amy, what's happening with the future of education now that we're living it, right? Now we are in the midst of the future of education.
That's a great question.
Well, things have changed definitely. I was just reflecting just last night that, when we walked out of the building March 13th, I didn't know at that time that we wouldn't be coming back.
Right.
And this last week...
Oh, you would have cleaned out the refrigerator, right?
We did done a lot of different things, I think. But when we saw kids that last day on that Friday, things changed that next week, and we didn't go back to the building. So last week it was very, very weird, very strange closing of the school year. Usually the closing of the school year is a lot of celebrations with teachers and students, and of course our graduating class, and we didn't get to do any of that last year. So last week when teachers were moving out of their classrooms, we had to social distance and only 10 staff members in the building at a time. So a very, very different type of closing out of the building this year.
Right.
So it's been very different.
So school officially closed out last week, right? Like Friday, but
yes.
But it was like, who would have known, right? Who would have noticed? It's just like you kind of like turned off the switch and that's it.
Well, did the seniors get a diploma?
The switch.
So we've been trying to do a lot of different ways, different things to celebrate our seniors, the class of 2020.
Right.
Driving through town, you might have noticed that there was yard signs. We delivered class of 2020 senior yard signs to all our students. So that was kind of cool. And then doing a lot of different posts on social media. You have to love social media during this time.
Right.
Did a lot of senior spotlights for our seniors. Did awards that way as well. And then the city, the chamber actually organized an awesome class of 2020 grad walk parade.
Oh, yeah?
This last week, which would have been on Thursday, which would have been graduation.
Ah.
So they went through town. They got to go through our homecoming parade route, and they added the four schools in Boulder City. So it was really great. I got to lead the parade, which was a lot of fun.
Right. How did you lead the parade? Were you in like a convertible with a mask on, or what?
The yellow baton.
Yeah, baton.
My best friend across the street from us that lives across the street has a convertible, and so she drove me through Boulder City, and it was
That's great.
It was a lot of fun. It was so cool to see the community come out and support our seniors. A lot of the community had signs that they were waving, honking their horns.
Right.
It was just awesome to see all that love for our seniors. But to answer your question though about graduation, we're still holding out for a graduation ceremony. So, hopefully in the next couple of days we get an announcement from the governor that we're moving to stage 2, and hoping for a type of a ceremony on the field. The seniors are asking for to be able to be together as much as possible to graduate.
Right.
And on our football field has been tradition for many, many years.
Right.
So we're looking forward to that, hopefully making that happen for them in June.
Kind of the idea of spreading them out and stuff like that, maybe. So you're going to have a
Yes.
cap, gown, and mask. I mean, it will be a new tradition, like the eagle beak or something like that. I don't know. We got to think forward here. Forward, what are we going to look like,
It's definitely going to be different, but we have enough space. We're graduating 136 seniors this year.
Oh,
So
wow.
there's enough space.
Is that a record?
Social
Is that
distance everybody.
what
No.
what did we have last year? Yeah.
We
Okay.
run about 130 every year,
Yeah.
between 130 and 150,
Right.
depending by the time we get to this point. So,
Right.
yeah.
That's really good. That's awesome. It's amazing, actually.
You know,
Really good.
so what do you think, what do you think the school year is going to like? So what is well, so we haven't had our official graduation yet, and it's really cool because, you look on Facebook, BCHS, there's a lot of BCHS high schools in the nation. First I was going, oh, we had our graduations in, on the football field. No, wait, that's not our football field. That's someplace in, Ohio. It's kind of weird. It was snow, and it was snowing too.
But there's only one Eagles.
That's right.
That's correct.
That's right.
And you'll have to make sure you follow the Eagle this summer, too.
Oh, yeah.
The Eagle will be out and about and on social media, and you'll be in different places all through Boulder City. So,
Right. Gotta
you guys
love.
will have to pop in and guess where the Eagle is.
Right, you gotta love that eagle. I guess when he's home from summer vacation, right?
So, Mrs. Wagner, what's going on with the sports programs? Where does that sit? It's like my sister, 3-time volleyball champion, is dying to get back out there. What's going on with that?
Oh my gosh, we're all dying for those guys to get out there and ladies to get out there as well.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen with that. We'll have to wait and see what the NIAA rules and how what the governor says and stuff, and what the summer brings. I think that's probably been the hardest part of all this, because we all like to have the answers and know exactly what's going to happen as we're planning out everything. And this year, we kind of have to go, we have to just wait and see. So
Right.
a little bit different for us leaders.
Right.
Definitely different.
I know. There's no answer. Well, that's like you're going to be on the show a couple weeks ago, but we said, God, Alan, I don't know if we should go because I have no answers for anything. I can't even comment on this stuff,
Was there
I don't know.
any sign of a senior prank this year at the high school?
No.
Isn't
there
the whole
wasn't
year a senior prank?
this year.
This is a senior prank? This whole
I kind of thought it was a senior skip day for the last couple months.
Yeah, well, this whole COVID-19
skip day.
is a
Yeah.
senior prank. Yeah.
Yeah, a month and a half of skip days.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes,
Well-
totally.
Do you think that will evolve to like all the sports teams will just get their own apps? Like they'll all play like video games. So like the volleyball team will like, I mean, just like, look, boy, she looks good in her avatar.
But, it's funny that you say something like that because we really have gotten really good with our technology, I think.
Right.
All of a sudden, overnight, classes moved online just like that. And teachers were figuring out, and we kept on saying, we're building the plane as we're flying it.
That's right.
And,
Yeah.
and
Right.
we learned.
Hey, right. It is building the plane. It's like, how do you turn right? I don't know.
That hasn't been written yet. So, I just have to give a huge shout out to our staff. They were just super awesome during all this because, like we've already kind of giggled this morning, we didn't have the answers when we were starting this.
Right.
And we got online. Teachers did not know they weren't going back to their classrooms. So they didn't get to go back and get all their supplies and, all those kind of things. They just started teaching from their backyard, like
Right.
you see me in my backyard.
Right. With the waterfall in the back, it's really nice.
Like
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
It kind of happened that way.
Well, I'm getting conscious, I got my Boulder City calendar up now, and so it's like you get kind of conscious of these images that you project out there,
You totally do.
Hey,
Every
Doug,
morning
how you doing?
I
And
started.
Sylvia, yeah.
Hi.
Oh. Whoa, we heard her voice.
From the back.
we know Sylvia. We saw Sylvia last week when the roof guy came for Dave.
Yeah.
he had to answer roof. The roof guy had questions, and Sylvia had nothing to do with it. She just didn't want to have anything to do with it. I go, what part of your roof is it? I don't know. That's not my department. That's Dave is dealing with the roof.
That's the roof department.
Yeah, it's the roof department.
Well, it's kind of funny you say something like that because seriously, during all this time, our education looks different. Because I know during some of my Zoom calls with kids and teachers and stuff, my cats join me on my computer screen, and to say hello and those kind of things. And a little different. I got to see teachers teaching with their kids running around and their dogs, and so
kind of peeking to their houses, like this is where they live. And
welcome to my home.
Yeah,
different learning spaces for sure. Different learning spaces.
What will you describe it as? Kind of like building the plane as you're flying it. So did you have any funny like crashes? Like, oops, we won't do that again. Like we're doing this. Yeah, we do this all the time. On our show. I mean, that's what kind of I like it because. We never know what. I mean, we hope this thing is. Anybody can hear us out there. They might not be hearing us out there. But did you ever like crash and burn? I mean, there anything like we won't do that again? Okay.
Nothing. Luckily, nothing like that happened to us. We definitely made some things like we probably don't want to do that again, but nothing that was really big. It was just a learning in progress.
Right.
And I think that's what's important for our kids to know, that it's
Right.
okay to make mistakes and just get up, brush yourself off, and keep on going.
Right.
Because that's what life is like. And
right.
not definitely how we wanted to end the school year, but sometimes you just get dealt
Right.
those lemons and you just make lemonade out of them.
That's right.
Have a positive attitude. It's all about that attitude. So
Right.
that was my focus during that whole thing, was to make sure that we were just positive through the whole thing. We weren't going to sure what it was going to look like, but that's okay. That's life sometimes. You just go with it. So
put your best foot forward. And keep
Right.
on rolling.
I mean,
keep on going.
there's no moments when some teacher was making teaching a class and all of a sudden they wanted to show something and you go, oops, oh I forgot, I don't have any pants on, or I'm on my tidy whities.
That did not happen.
Okay,
But
everybody was conscious.
Underwear.
Yeah.
One of the days, I don't know, a month or so ago, the power went out in Boulder City. So my teachers were.
We remember that. Yes.
You remember that? Well,
That's
my
scary.
teachers were holding class, and so there was no power. So they were trying to figure out what else they could use, and their phones would work, and not their tablets, and different
Right.
things for their computers.
Well,
So
well, that day that happened, it just so happens that my phone went out too. So the electricity went out, and then I said, I'm going to report this outage, and I went, my phone is out. Then I thought, oh no, we're done. The internet is gone. It's over. Now is the apocalypse. Lock the doors, honey. They're going to start eating each other.
There's no bandwidth. We have to watch.
There's no bandwidth. What are we gonna? We're gonna go real. We're gonna start eating each other now.
The Dark Ages.
Well, this definitely will go down as a year. The class of 2020 definitely made history. I think
Right.
there's lots of different stories with Boulder City High School because we have such a rich history. But this is one that everybody we'll never forget the school year of 19 to 2020 because
Right.
it's a crazy way of ending this whole year out.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, did the teachers actually go online and they had 30 little pictures on the screen and the whole class was assembled, or how did it work?
So I actually asked my teachers to hold Google Meets or in the beginning Zoom meetings, and so they would invite their kids, their class, to meet up with them, and they would talk about content. But to be quite honest, they really were just connecting with kids.
Right.
It was important for them to see their teacher and their classmates, and so they talked about how they were doing during this pandemic and how things were going and that kind of stuff. So you're right, they did. Our teachers had that connection with kids throughout the whole time with their classes and stuff. So
What was the attendance rate?
it's very hard to talk about the attendance rate because not everyone had devices.
You're right.
So it's kind of hard to figure that out. So
Right.
we were really shooting for a two-way communication of some sort with
Right.
all of our students somehow.
Right.
So maybe not necessarily in the Google Meet, but maybe connecting with Remind apps on their phones or through emails or those kind of things.
Right.
So making sure we knew where our kids were and that they were okay during this time.
Right.
Because I know a lot of our students worked a lot of hours at some of our grocery stores and those kind of places. If you guys went into Albertsons or some of those other places, you might have seen our kids because they were working a lot of hours.
Right.
That was a two-way communication log. That's great.
Had a conversation with the kid while I was getting my groceries. Check.
Yeah, no, they had us do a lot of phone calls and just a lot of logging. That was a lot.
Do you know that Travis is now an educator?
Yeah.
Yes. He is an educator. He's Mr. Robinson now, right? Is how they go.
Ooh, not anymore. I'm not. School's done. But yeah, it's interesting. Definitely interesting.
Well, what do you think is like the biggest takeaway? You know, is there any kind of like discovery? Like I've noticed that, you know, like for example, you know, tomorrow I have a telemedicine meeting with one of my doctors, you know, and I've enjoyed them a lot, and the doctors seem to enjoy it a lot. And they said, my doctor said, you know, it kind of gives me an insight into my patients because I kind of see where they live now, you know, and you kind of see them in their natural. And, you know, the doctors are saying that they're, you know, they're actually having a better, you know, a show up rate. You know, people aren't missing their appointments. They make their appointments if they're online. You know, they don't, you know, cancellations and people not showing up is a big deal. But, you know, with telemedicine, they're like, you know, they're just there, you know.
Yeah.
And people seem to be more comfortable and more willing to actually open up and communicate with the doctor rather than with your office. You know how you're sitting at your doctor's office and you go, shoot, I forgot to tell him about that arrow stuck in the back of my neck. You know, because, you know, whatever it is. Yeah. Dang it, you know. It was on my list too. You know.
Well, I think I encouraged our families and our students to really connect with their families.
Right.
To sit down and to have some good time with them. And we did some different virtual challenges throughout the end of the school year. You know, cooking with your family, having dinner with your family, playing games, puzzles, something to just connect with your family, because I think we were so busy before that we were going, especially with high school students. They were going to this practice or this game or the next thing. We were very
something on the schedule.
Yeah, we were very guilty of that.
Right.
I remember sitting down with my assistant principals and we were trying to come up with a night for senior awards, and there was not a night on the calendar that was empty that we could put senior awards. And then, of course, we got to a certain point after March 13th and everything was empty.
Right.
So you all of a sudden had time.
Right. Well, it was kind of a pause. Yeah, pause to reset, to reconnect with people. Do you see that? People reconnecting with families and kind of like trying to function in?
I do.
Yeah.
And I think it forced a lot of us to use some technology that we weren't used to using. I remember I even kind of showed my mom how to use a Zoom call.
Right.
And we connected on Mother's Day for Zoom and other times as well. But that was just a different way because my family's all over, you know, the United States.
Right.
And so kind of different. We never communicated that way before, and so we were able to do that at different times. So that was important, I think. I hope we don't lose that part of it. I hope we don't get back to that pace of just not stopping, because that's where we were.
Right.
Families were always going to the next event and dropping kids off at soccer practice and dropping kids off at dance and dropping kids off at this thing and that thing.
Right.
And then picking them all up, and we were going crazy. Not even setting time. A lot of times sitting down to eat together at night. And I think we kind of got back to that. And I think parents, when we start this next school year, I think they're going to want that again. Some sort of that. So I'm hoping we'll get back to a school in August or September, depending on what the district decides. I don't know what that's going to look like yet, but I'm hoping that our families come away with this and go, is this important to really connect and have those good conversations with our kids? because I haven't had time to get to know you as a human being very well. So I'm hoping.
Yeah, that's great. How did the student awards get publicized then? You didn't have a night of handing them out, so
we didn't have a night, so I did it all through social media. I bugged my kids to give me a photo of them, and then I basically over a couple of days put all those out on social media to let everybody know what those were, and then did a video as well. So a little different this year.
We bet.
Oh no, I think it's been amazing. I mean, like, yeah, your different skills, like cooking, like, man, I mean, like, challenge to cook something different. I was really great about, we had Diane from Herbs of Diane, and Diane Green the other day. I go, oh man, using all her ingredients, it's like, okay, now you can make these special meals, and just like, oh, I gotta have those, I gotta have those sunflower sprouts on my salad now. It's just not the same. It just makes it look better.
Stuff that you don't know about that you can learn, like sorrel is delicious.
Right.
Sorrel from Diane.
Yeah, and that Swiss chard is about gone, So.
Me.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, until we get a vaccine or a cure treatment or something like that, I mean, it's got to be somewhat. I mean, that's kind of like always the elephant in the room. It's like until you can treat this or vaccinate it, then okay, then we're all, there's a threat here, and so how that looks like, is going to be tricky. Has any thoughts about? I mean, I can see us one thing in the group. I mean, like, I was out, yesterday, Sunday, and I mean, there was a lot of people out there, and very few people wearing masks, and things like that. And I go, we feel like it's over now. We're just going to jump in, and how do we, kind of like, how do we approach this thing, and you're right in the middle of that thing. You're setting the standard. I mean, whatever we do right now, our kids are going to remember what we did. It's so important right now.
It will.
And just think how it's going to affect these kids. It's just something that's so different, but it's not like most of us are. I mean, there's people sick and there's deaths and there's but for most of us, it's not like, that huge tragedy. It's like this weird social, clamp down, and we're kind of self-imposed, thing that we're going through, and how do we explain that, and how to make sense out of this,
Well, and I don't want our kids to miss out on the fact of connecting with their peers and their family,
Right.
Because a lot of them obviously were social distancing during this last couple months, and as we go forward, I don't want them to stop connecting with their friends.
Right.
It looks a little bit different now, but I heard a lot of different kids. They were connecting on Zoom and showing movies and sharing their screen and those kind of things, and getting together. So I'm hoping that they don't lose that kind of stuff, and they continue those connections, because that's what's important. I hope we don't lose that, whatever this new normal looks like as we go into this next school year.
Yeah.
So.
It's kind of interesting how we adapt. I mean, like my son said, they were actually, my sons were here, Seiji and Alexander were over here the other day. They were helping us do some things, and we had a little barbecue out in the back, And one of the things they said, and they're very close. I mean, they, when they leave, they're outside talking to each other, and they like each other, and they become friends. But they said that they really became friends over playing games with each other. Like video games. They said I really got to be a buddy playing games with my brother. And I think that's something real. We kind of like, we've been parents kind of poo-poo, playing games, they're just wasting your life and blah, 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 and, parents have also, but they're figuring it out, right?
And on the other end, there's no death, and you're only getting friendship.
Yeah.
I think our kids will surprise us, and they will come out of this,
Right.
especially this class, of 2020. And they were, this has been shared before, but they were born in the wake of 9/11,
Right.
and graduating in this global pandemic. And so they're resilient as a class, and they will figure it out, and they will go on and do amazing things. And our kids will probably do better than we will
Right.
through all this change, because they handle it.
Right. Do you think that they'll be better people because they're they have to like deal with challenges? I mean, makes you a stronger person. I mean, that you have to.
It does. It definitely does.
And if it just all comes so easy and so quickly, and we're just like going through one thing to another, this pause may give them a sense of appreciation to what we have, and what are those social relationships.
It's kind of funny though, because if this hadn't happened, I wouldn't have probably reached out to my senior class and asked them to give me their favorite memory of Boulder City High School, because we're just so busy sometimes, and especially at the end of the school year. And we'd have been so busy, I probably would have stopped and said, "Hey, what's your favorite memory of Boulder City High School?" And getting all those back and then sharing them with social media these last 2 or 3 weeks, I can't even think about, but a majority of them said the best thing about Boulder City High School was their friends, their lifelong friends that they made, the fact that they grew up in a small town, their peers were their best friends, the classes, the connections, the relationships they had with teachers. That's what they kept on going back saying.
Right.
And that was the cool part of seeing all that. And
Right.
so, and then sharing that with us. And then I got to share that with everybody else. And
Right.
so that was the cool part of that.
Well,
Because you guys know we have such a rich history at Boulder City High School.
Right.
Established in 1941.
1941.
Our first graduating class was in May of 42. And so such a rich history when you think about it. All
Right.
the different stories of Boulder City and of Boulder City High School.
And you guys are keeping the alignment alive. You guys know I'm into the alignment
Yes.
of Boulder City. The north-south alignment from the reclamation center to the flagpole to the entry of the high school is the north-south alignment. So if you want to know where north and south is in Boulder City, everybody, south is the high school flagpole and north is the reclamation flagpole. That's it. No.
Now notice that parking lot is looking renewed. You got a really nice new blacktop on your parking lot. Is there anything else going on this summer at the high school? Or physical plant?
Not really for the whole plant.
Well, Sylvia Anderson is asking, does the high school theater have plans to be flexible, go Zoom the next year? Any ideas of how to make theater work? I mean, this is like, it's not only sports, but it's all these activities, So what do you think about theater?
Theater is incredible.
Yeah.
The theater is nice. I'm sure we'll be looking at lots of different things, Facebook Live and live streaming. I mean, we're already talking about, obviously, when we have a graduation, we'll be live streaming our graduation. So I think a lot of people will look at things differently as we go forward. How can we share games, basketball games or football games? How can we share different events and stuff with our community? Because now we've all dabbled our foot in all this technology with Zoom and Facebook Live and everything else. People are pretty comfortable being on camera now because that was a way.
Right.
to
true.
Yeah. Fix your collars there, Travis.
It's a new comfort zone for a lot of us.
Right.
So I think you'll see a lot of schools do things a little bit differently to connect with people differently.
Right. Well,
have a bigger reach.
I know the new greeting. You just gave it to me this morning. It's like people come up and they go, "How do I look?" I go, "You look fine." Yeah.
Go back to bed, yeah.
And too, because then also everybody in the family can watch the game or the event literally from anywhere. It's kind of,
Yeah. Well, do you think like professional sports are talking? I mean, they're talking about they're actually it's the NBA. I guess is going to go to Disneyland or something. But
Disneyland,
yeah, but they're talking about like hockey and things like that just being broadcast, like and just having no fans in the stands. Do you think that high school possibly maybe where you test just the team and the team plays and it's a virtual game or something like that? Do you think
It might. I don't know. I know I want our kids to be able to play because that's important.
Yeah.
Sports is a great outlet for kids,
right.
And I want them to have those experiences.
Right.
So any way we can make that stuff happen,
right.
I'm hoping that we'll be able to do that for our kids.
Well, the cross country Facebook Live event ought to be interesting, especially the kid following. Here they go. They're running. I'm a tag.
You have a GoPro camera on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. GoPro camera.
Everybody has a GoPro camera, right? Yeah.
It's totally good.
You know.
Can't wait to see them in the pool because they could do the same thing in the pool.
Oh, right. Or every, like in a baseball team, every player has, is mic'd with a GoPro. Like, the left fielder's going up there in those little private moments you hear, I hope he doesn't hit it to me. I hope he hits it. Or I hope it's easy. Or, he hits the ground ball and you go, oh my God, here it comes. Run. Who knows? This could be a whole new, we'll just all be wired, Constantly.
Constantly streaming.
I'm saying, I got a wire in my head here. I got this over here.
It won't be long.
Right. The power goes down, the internet goes down, we're eating each other because there's nothing else left to do. Right, yeah.
Totally in trouble.
Well, anyway, God, that was a half an hour of wonderful, but, we really, we want to update. We kind of like, we like to have, when the school year starts again. Matter of fact, we want to help promote the first virtual GoPro sporting event. But remember, I want to say, yeah. Well, the thing I pick on baseball is kind of like this weird individual team sport. You're kind of alone most of the time on baseball, except when you have to work as a team. So, I want to hear all the comments. Okay. Anyway, hey, thank you. Happy Memorial Day. Thank you, everybody. And thank you, help everybody on BC Socials had a great Memorial Day and everything. And, episode 119 of Boulder is over.
Thank you, guys.
This is Wagner. Awesome. Great to see you, Travis. Okay, man. Tank top. You'll be tank top pretty soon.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
In no time.
Okay, Dave. And this way, and tell Sylvia we're working on the Zoom play.
All right.
Whatever it takes here. And we'll let Sandy Nelson go. Okay, everybody. Boulder, episode 119. Thank you for viewing.